Maybe everybody went to the fair a couple of weeks ago. No one's in security. All right then.
Just a minute.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Right, is that on? Can you hear me? Sasha?
Yes.
Yeah?
Just a minute.
We've got 10 now. And you can listen like you want. I'm going to be watching myself. I'm not going to talk to you actually. I'm just going to sit and watch myself up there. Yeah? Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for coming. My name's Naomi Annisman. I work in the consular section at the embassy. So if you come for your visas, you might have an interview with me. And I'm here to answer your questions. I've got a very, not too long, slightly boring presentation, but you know, it is a slightly boring topic. But hopefully it will answer your questions. So if you're thinking about studying in the United States, this is going to hopefully answer your questions about how to get a visa, because it's a little bit complicated. And because it's a bit complicated, it's slightly boring, but we'll try and get through to the questions at the end, okay? So, first of all, I want to tell you that we want you. We want you to come to the United States and study. It's important that you come and that you share your skills and your knowledge. Wait, why do we want you? Let's see. You've got skills and knowledge. You know things we don't, and you can come and exchange your ideas. You can bring new fields of study, new areas of research. And it's very important as well for bridging cultural gaps, for making connections between Americans and Ukrainians. It's important. And also, let's not forget the huge contribution that foreign students make to our economy. Thank you very much. Now, for people who think that it's very difficult to get a visa and nobody actually manages it, over the last 5 years, we've issued 4,000 F students. F is academic visas. So it happens, and you could be 4001, 2, 3. Okay. This is just general interest. What do people come and study in the United States? Very popular is people coming to study business, coming to study management, engineering, particularly the sciences. But as you can see, there's also, a huge range. So whatever it is you're interested in, whatever you're thinking of coming to study, you can probably find a great course. Okay. People are concerned, they're worried, I'm never going to get my visa on time. Not true, because we give priority appointments. That means that every day we make sure there's enough appointments for people who are applying for F and M visas. So you're not going to have a problem, because we want you to begin your program on time. Okay? We don't want you to miss the first week just because you couldn't get a visa. So that shouldn't be what you're worried about. Okay, let's clear up what visa categories we're talking about. I don't know if you know, but all our visa categories are divided by letter. Probably you've heard of a B1, B2 visa. That's like the general tourist business visa. You don't want that. If you're going to come and study, you want Fs or Ms. Fs or Ms, okay, which one? Fs are for academic study, okay? You're going to come and study any kind of academic program or a language program, you need an F. An M is if you're going to come and study a vocational course of study. You're going to come and be a pilot or a musician or a dancer, choreography, something non-academic. That's an M visa. Okay. So a question that a lot of people ask is about timing. Okay, when can you apply? Did I click? I did click. You can apply, is that 3 or 4? 4 months before your studies start. You don't have to, but you can. So if you're ready and you've got all your forms, you know what you're doing, boom, go ahead, come in. We'll take your application even 4 months before your studies, so you don't have to worry about that. You can check that box, got my visa, I'm ready. Okay, you can enter the United States a month before your studies start, before your actual program date. So you have time to get books, to find somewhere to live, to make whatever arrangements you need to make. You can also, if you're an F, that was the academic study, remember? You can travel for about 2 months afterwards, so we don't kick you out straight away as soon as your program's over. But if you're an M, you only have 30 days. I don't know why. And the total period of stay isn't supposed to exceed 1 year if you're on an M visa. I told you, there's lots of rules. Visas are kind of complicated. Okay, now this is where it gets very specific and technical. Approved school, where to start, right? You're looking around, you have this general idea, I think I might want to study in the US. Where do you start? You find an approved school. How do you find an approved school? What is an approved school, first of all? It's the one certified by the Student and Exchange Visitor Program, SEVP. You're going to see that acronym, SEVP. So it has to be a certified school, okay? Not every school can invite F&Ms. How do you find out who they are? It's online, okay? studyinthestates.dhs.gov. You can find which schools are allowed to enroll F&M students, which schools are certified by the Student and Exchange Visitor Program. Okay. Now, I did want to say a little word about J visa programs, because you've probably also heard about J's and it might be relevant for some people. They are a special exchange program, and it's it's specifically developed to promote international relations, to promote international understanding. There's a series of different ones I'll run through very quickly, okay? It's just so you get an idea if someone's talking about exchange programs, that you're clear what you need to apply for. So these are for students in secondary school. Flex, right?
Yep.
Flex, our Flex student over here went on a J visa, I hope. Okay, a college student. So if you're going for like a 1 semester exchange, not like a whole F, but you might be going for an exchange program, then you would need a J, okay? Or if you're going as an intern, so maybe you finished studying, but you're doing an internship of some kind, medical internship, whatever other, that's a J program. Or as a trainee. We actually get lots of interns and trainees doing like dairy farming and fish farming, and a lot of J visas, okay. Government visa to not relevant, these are not relevant. Physician, professor, so some of your teachers, your professors may have been to the United States and studied for a semester or so on a J visa program. Some kind of international visa, specialist. These are all specifically developed so that professionals can develop international contacts, because it's important to us to make those bonds. And short-term scholars. Now, the other J visa programs that we're not going to talk about, but you have probably heard of, are, no, not that one, this one. Summer work and travel, camp counselor, au pair programs. So put them there. They're J visa programs. They're not part of today's discussion. Today's discussion is really focusing on the student visas, the Fs and Ms, but that's just for your general awareness and knowledge. Okay. All right, where do we get? Where do we go? See how quickly we're getting through this? All right. Now, if you do want to do a J visa program, if you have an interest in it, it's something that appeals to you to do 1 semester or something, you go on the website. All the information is there. And you have to reach out directly to the program sponsor, okay? You have to find out what they want, who they're looking for, then you make the application directly through that website. Okay, back to our student visas, our Fs and Ms. SEVIS. Have you heard of SEVIS? Yeah? Okay, this is something you're going to need to know what it is. It sounds really scary, and I remember when I started adjudicating visas, I'm like, what is this crazy SEVIS thing? It is a Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. That's it. It's an information system. It's just a database. It's just like giving you an ID, giving you a number, enrolling you in our system, in our student system, okay? And it's set up by the Department of Homeland Security. Did I write that? No. Hold on. It's set up by the Department of Homeland Security. They're just registering you in the system so we know where you are. If you're in status, like if you're studying, you get an ID number. That's all it is. But it's America, it costs money. $200 if you're an F or an M. If you are a J, you get a discount. It's only $180. Okay. And what else do you need to know about it? You have to pay before you come to the visa interview. We're not supposed to interview you if you haven't paid and got your SEVIS number. That's really important. We'll just tell you to go home and enroll. You actually can't do anything until you've enrolled in SEVIS anyway, so Well, until you've paid. Only the principal applicants. So say you are going to the United States and you're bringing your husband. He doesn't have to pay the SEVIS fee, only you. Only the principal applicant, only the person that's actually going to study. Same for kids, they don't have to pay the SEVIS fee. But one thing you really need to know is that even if you pay the SEVIS, it doesn't guarantee that you get a visa. Okay, next technical thing you need to know about is I-20s. Have you heard of this? Aha, something new, because you knew what SEVIS was. All right, I-20 is a certificate of eligibility. It says that you have enrolled in the school and the school has accepted you. So you reach out to your school, you say, hi, Southampton College, I would like to study in your institution, and they say, great, we'd love to have you. Here is a certificate of eligibility. It's called the I-20. And the school issues it once they've accepted you onto their program. Everybody needs one. So you're coming with your husband and 3 kids, everybody needs an I-20. But it doesn't guarantee that you get a visa. Okay, now this is for Fs and Ms, right? The I-20 is the form that you need for an F and M. If you're a J, you need a DS 2019. Alphabet soup, right? So DS stands for Department of State. That's because the J programs, right, the exchange programs, they're Department of State programs, right? You call it Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It's in our programs, that's why it's a DS and not an I. That's all that means. The sponsor issues. So you write off to your sponsor. They want you to come and do an exchange program of some kind. They issue the DS 2019 and say, yes, we want Olga Bramanova to come and study in our institution. They give you the form. Everybody needs one, right? Bring in the rest of your family. Everybody gets a separate DS 2019, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a visa. All right. Fulbright. Get a lot of questions about Fulbright programs. What is Fulbright? Anybody heard of Fulbright? Over here. It is another kind of exchange program. Yeah, it is. Oh, there's the website where you can find out all the information. I think I said what it was. It's a Department of State program. And it's a cultural exchange program. It's really important, actually. It's a great program. It creates empowering connections. It sets people up with contacts in their field, allows them to come and study in the United. What did you do on your Fulbright?
I did a full master's degree.
A full master's degree. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. It's all paid for, right?
Yep. All by the great people of the United States of America.
The government of the United States of America paid for Liz's master's program on a Fulbright. And Fulbright also pays for Americans to come here. So sometimes they might be in your institution. They might be studying or doing some research project or teaching, and they've come on this scholarship program. So you can find out all about that on it's a J. You'd get a J visa for Fulbright. Yeah. And that's the website. You can find out all the information about it. Okay. Is that what we need to know about Fulbright? Visiting scholars. That's who it's for, right? Visiting scholars coming to study business, science, government, academia. What did you do your master's in?
International education.
International education. Fantastic. And the arts. So there's a Fulbright for everybody out there. Okay. If you are coming with your significant other, can they work? No. If you're an F2 dependent, no, you can't work. If you are a J2, you can apply for permission to work after you come into the United States. But whatever you earn is not supposed to pay for the tuition of the J1. That's supposed to be covered by your own savings, or usually it's the government program paying for it. Did I get that right about F2? I guess so. All right. Same-sex partners. We are very progressive. It's the United States of America. We're still very progressive. And we adjudicate applications from same-sex partners the same way that we do for heterosexual partners. So you come along with your same-sex partner, and we're going to look at the application exactly the same way. But what that means is you need some kind of marriage certificate. Only a relationship which is legally considered to be a marriage in the jurisdiction, in the place where it took place, means that you're eligible. So I think there is no gay marriage in Ukraine, am I right? So it wouldn't count here. But if your partner and your partner got married in the United States, we would accept that as a legal marriage, and then we adjudicate, you get a J2 or an F2, same as everybody else. Cohabiting partners. Oh, I should have put that in separate. What does that mean? Like, that's your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Hopefully not of, 3 months. Like, we're talking about a partner here. Other household members, it might even be your nanny or your elderly mother. That person has to get a B1, B2 visa. But when you enter the United States, so they have to qualify and there are merits for a B1, B2. We adjudicate them, we look at that person, we see if they can have a B1, B2. And when they try and enter the United States, at the border, they can ask DHS to stay longer. They can say, look, I'm coming in, I'm the dependent family member of this F1 student, and I need to stay for a year because I'm elderly mom or nanny for their 3 children. So that's a possible. Oh, I emphasize those. Okay, how do you actually apply for it? Are there any questions so far? We've gone quite quickly, but I think it's quite technical and a little bit boring. Got the technical stuff?
I've got one.
Okay.
Does this J2 rules apply for summer work and travel applicants?
About not working, J2 rules?
J2, does any work and travel applicant can go with his...
That's a really good question. I imagine so, but I'm not sure. That's a really good question.
Okay, boyfriend want to go with his girlfriend?
Well, no, boyfriend, girlfriend, they wouldn't qualify for the J2. They would have to get the B1, B2.
Okay.
Same as for
only those partnership which is...
But if you're married, if you're going on summer work and travel and you want your wife to come with you, no, because, summer work and travel are usually you have to be a student, which you're unlikely to be married, but it happens.
But still, I can be married, right?
You know what? You can, if your program sponsor will issue you the DS 2019, then you come to the embassy and you ask for a visa like everybody else.
Great,
and then we adjudicate and make the decision for you. Okay. Okay, how to actually apply for a visa. This is what I do. Well, I'm on the other side of the window. You have to complete an application form. Pretty much how everything starts, isn't it? It's the DS 160. Remember DS, Department of State? It's our form. It all becomes clear. Okay, what else? Oh, that's where you can find it. It's online. Whoop, costs money. No surprise. But if you're a Fulbright student or you're getting some other kind of grant, you do not pay the $160. We call it the MRV fee, which I wish I remembered what that stood for. You don't have to pay it. Don't pay it, because if you do pay it by mistake, we're not going to reimburse it. So just don't pay it in the first place. But you'll be told that through the Fulbright program office. I hope you didn't pay your MIV fee. Okay. There have been instances that people pay it by mistake and then we're like, sorry. Schedule an appointment, and you do that online. It's a different website because that's how it works. Fulbright scholars don't schedule your own appointment. You do that through the program office. Basically, Fulbrights get taken care of. They don't pay the money. They go through the program to get an appointment. Everybody else, you fill out an application form, you pay your money, schedule an appointment. Makes sense? Not that scary and complicated. What should you bring with you? Please bring your passport. It happens. People show up without a passport. Yeah. Okay, they're not going anywhere. Bring the form. Okay, see this? This is the DS-160 that you had to fill in, and it has a barcode on it. We need the barcode. I mean, if you don't fill it, we don't bring it, we can probably dig it up and find it for you, but nobody's going to like you. The I-20 that you got from your university accepting you onto the program, the certificate of eligibility, you have to bring it, okay? Or if you were a J visa applicant, you have a DS 2019. One or the other, right? If you're an F or an M, you bring the I-20. If you're a J, you bring DS 2019, you have to bring it. Now this is a sticking point, right? Because this is a physical form. This is not something that they can email to you. They have to actually put it in the mail and send it to you, and we hope that Ukropost is actually going to deliver it to you. And so people phone us and they say, oh, I'm all ready and I need to come, but I haven't got my I-20 yet. It's on its way. Can I come anyway? No. We have to see the original actual form. So that is a sticking point. You have to just cross your fingers, hope it comes on time. That one we have to wait for. What else should you bring? This is like a big open question. Relevant documents. I know, what does that mean, right? Okay, confirmation that you paid the SEVIS. Remember right in the beginning you had the SEVIS fee? It's just an information system. It's just a database that you registered and you got a number, an ID number, and you paid. Now we can like dig in our system and find out if you paid, but it takes extra time. So it just delays things. It might delay your application by a day or two. So if you bring it with you, no delay. A letter from the school, I like that. When I'm adjudicating, I like to see a letter from the school. I like to see that the school knows who you are, knows that, I mean, of course, you know, they sent you the I-20, but if it's a good school and they say, you know, we're looking forward to Sergei Ivanovich coming to study, he looks like a great student and he's interested in our class, something, it's nice for me as a visa officer to see a letter from the school, that you're serious and they're serious about you. Sometimes we like to see expired international passports. Why? We want to see where you've been. Why? Because if you've never left the country, it raises a question in our minds as to how you have enough money to pay for your course, right? Unless you have a scholarship, you're paying for this. That costs, American education is not cheap. And, you know, if I'm wondering about whether or not this person can pay, and then I open their passport and they've never been anywhere, I'm like, So we often like to look at old passports and just see your travel history. Now, you might not have ever been anywhere. Maybe you're 18 years old and you never got a chance to go anywhere yet. Maybe you can explain that. We can talk about it. But it's just a starting point. It's not like the end of the questions. It's not a no. But it helps us to make a decision. So we recommend that people bring that. Financial statements. You don't have to bring any of this. It's just extras. Again, you're going to pay how many $100,000 for your education. Might be nice to see that you got some money in the bank. Now, I wouldn't expect to see that you have $100,000 just sitting there in the Ukrainian bank. You know, maybe that wouldn't be a great idea anyway. No. You know, I don't need to see that you have a statement saying you have all the money. Anyway, that might lead to other questions, like why are they just leaving $100,000 in the checking account? But I might like to see like that you have a healthy bank account, that you have money coming in, money going out. This is real. So financial statements. These are additionals that you can bring if you want. I think that might be it. Useful links. Yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Obviously, all the information is on our website. Where else can you find good information? That's the application website, the US travel docs. If you're interested in the summer work and travel that we're not talking about, it's on Facebook. They have their own Facebook page. The J Visa Programs has its own page on state. Hold on, it's come out. Wait for all of them. Hold on. US Department of Education, in case you want to look at the schools, information about the schools that you're applying to. American Association, so community colleges, if you're looking at going to a local community college rather than one of the big universities. I'm not sure why you need the Institute of International Education, but
if you want to get a Fulbright,
there you go.
There
That's why it's up there. That's why it's there, Fulbright. And lots of people have questions about SEVIS, even though I'm not sure why it's that confusing. Frequently asked questions. I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Let's go. Let's leave it on that with the useful links. Because any question you ask me, I can basically now go, oh yeah, look here. Oh, you'll find it here. All right. So, do you have any questions after that very brief but hopefully thorough presentation on all the ins and outs of visas for students? What can I help you with? Yes.
No, thank you for presentation. Very informative.
Good.
My students often ask me, okay, you are saying that we are allowed to enter early prior to date of issue of my visa, start date of my visa, and you are claiming that, they ask me, and you are claiming that I'm allowed to leave the United States during 30 days after the
60 if you're an F.
Can you give me any link for the official information, because they often don't wanna trust me on just okay, it's
they
your
just
word, okay,
don't-
but can you
Right,
can you
they
give
want
me
to see
groups?
it in black and
Yes,
white.
yes.
I bet that if you type into Google, how many days can I enter United States before my S, it's going to pop right up. It's 30 days before the program and 60 days after the program. And certainly that information will, for the J's, it's going to be on the J visa page. And DHS website is going to have
DHS.
all those
All right,
answers.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, Department of Homeland Security, they're going to have all those answers. Also, our embassy webpage is going to link, if it doesn't have that information on it, it's going to link to the relevant information. So that it's there, black and white, all over the web. But I mean, make sure you're looking at a legitimate website like DHS or our
That's what
embassy
I'm
web,
asking for.
or our embassy
because,
webpage.
because there are many links on the internet, but
Yeah,
we're looking for a proper one.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Distrustful students, huh?
yes. they,
Like, it can't be. They let us in a whole 30 days early.
yes, and they don't trust. They rely on their own source of information, friends, but not me.
Well, listen, actually the reason we do these presentations is because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So we
Exactly.
try and sit you down and give you the real deal so you know where you're at. Okay, any more questions?
Could you please tell more about internship programs, how to get a J1 visa?
So,
for someone
I have a
who-
little bit of information on the internship program, but in general, it's something you have to look into for yourself and see what exists, what they are. It's for students, current students or graduates. It's designed to allow, yes, some current students, but mostly graduates, to come to the United States and get some hands-on training. Hold on, it's in order to get, they can choose their occupational field. Now, people currently want to yeah, it has to be someone either during their course of study, it has to be a university course of study, or have graduated within 12 months. And there's a whole range of different, what you need to do is just see what fits before you apply. So you go onto that website, the J Visa website, and then you select interns, and then you can see a whole list of different types of internship program, and you would see what's appropriate, what you like, and then it's you make the, you reach out to the sponsor and you say, I'm interested in your internship program, and they'll accept you or not, they'll want to see your documents, whatever. You make the whole application through them. We're just going to look at your visa application when you come to us, but you do all of that separately with the institution in the States.
If we talk about J visas in general, does any of these support materials will help? Because
What do you mean with support materials?
Support information. You said about expired passport, financial statement. Do you would you prefer those documents to be presented by applicants too?
I mean, look, it's always better to be prepared, right? You come with your documents, I don't look at any of them, you walk out saying, she didn't even look at any of my documents. But like, if I had asked for them, it's nice that you have them, right? If you're going on a fully paid J program, obviously I'm not going to ask for your financial statements. Why would I? It's fully paid, But, if you'd been refused for a visa before and then you're coming for this J program, maybe I'd want to look at your previous travel or something. I'd want to get an idea of who I'm talking to. So it never hurts to bring your documents. Don't be offended if we don't look at them. We have about, a couple of minutes to make our decision on every applicant. If I don't need to look at documents, I don't want to look at documents. If I can make my decision without looking, that's great. But if you have them and I need them, that's a good fit.
Is it possible to get this type of visa if I have already got 2 rejections from another type, B1, B2?
Yes, it is possible.
What do my chances?
What are your chances? So if you've been rejected for a tourist visa and now you're showing up for a fully paid exchange program, I'm not going to worry too much. Like, it's a completely different category of travel. You're asking to enter the United States for a very different reason. So it's not going to raise too many questions. If you've been rejected twice for, B visa travel, so tourist visa travel, and now you show up and you want an F visa, It's really going to depend on a whole range of factors. I'm going to look at what program you're going to go study. If you're going to Harvard to study law, I'm probably not going to worry about the fact that you had 2 B visa rejections, right? But if you're going to a small college somewhere to do a short program of study, you know, like a month's English course, it's going to raise questions. Doesn't mean I'm going to refuse you, just means I'm going to ask some more questions to try and get a feel for, are you really going to study English in a small college after I refused you twice last week? Or if it's last year, or 3 years. Like, all these factors come into play, right? When I'm making my decision, I'm looking at the whole picture. Go ahead, I see you have another one.
My experience passed, because I have been there 4 times before.
4 times in a row you got rejected for a B1, B2? You've been 4 times rejected for...
Yeah, before that, when I was younger. Before I turned 18 years old.
You've been to the United States.
Yes, and then
She'll
I
been
was...
to the United States, and then she'll be rejected.
Yeah, when I turned 18 years old.
So, I mean, I can't comment on your particular case. All I can say that if circumstances changed, or if your application changed, or maybe there was, you know, there's some reason, there's some doubt, there's some questions in the officer's mind as to how bona fide is this travel. You know, each time we get an applicant, you look at the whole package. That includes rejections, that's part of the package, but it's not the only part of the package. So we want to know why you're traveling this time. And if it makes sense, if it looks good, if it looks legitimate, you can overcome the previous refusals.
Yeah, because I was asked to get an internship, but I don't know, I'm really afraid to apply again because I don't know.
I think any kind of organized program like the internships are usually good applications, because you've usually been accepted somewhere, they want you, we know where you're going, we know how long you're going for, we know who's paying for it. So that's usually not, doesn't raise too many questions.
Thank you so much.
How can I get perfect travel history? I mean, what country are good for you?
There's no such thing, honestly, there is no such thing as perfect travel history. When I open someone's passport to look at their travel history, I'm not saying, has this person been to Vietnam or not? Like, I don't have that question in my mind. I don't have like anything specific I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is if the whole picture makes sense to me. Who you say you are, what you say you do, why you say you're going to the United States, where you've been previously, like all of this has to kind of make sense. You know, if you see, sometimes I just see things that like, that looks weird. Like this person, for example, you open a passport and no, somebody hasn't been anywhere for 4 years, and then all of a sudden they have like 5 trips in 5 months. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, and then maybe there's a reason, or maybe it's not entirely honest representation. So it's always looking at the whole picture. It's always just trying to see if it makes sense. Does it make sense that you want to go to this school for this course of study, that your family has the money to pay for it? So I'm not looking for any specific country. Like, I can't give you that answer, unfortunately. There's a lot of grey, which I know is not very helpful, but. No more questions? Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how about a tricky one?
Okay.
If say you're a student and you got your visa and you got into your school, and I know that particularly with some of the JAs, it often happens that you get a visa for a year, but your program is more than a year. Say you have a 2-year program or a 4-year program. How would it work with those students, and what would you suggest they do, and what they need to pay attention to?
Excellent question. Okay, so say you're issued a visa that is not as long as your course of study. That's the basic question, like what now? So you have to remember that a visa is a travel document. That's what it is. It allows you entry into the country. That's pretty much it. When you enter the country, DHS stamps how long you're allowed to be in this country. And then as long as you're in status in the United States, you can stay. So even if you had a 1-year J visa, if you're on a 2-year course, you can stay as long as you're in status within our DHS SEVIS system. So if you've paid, and the school continues to say, yes, you're a bona fide student attending classes, you're fine. If the school, enters in the system, haven't seen her in 3 months, has disappeared, no longer in status, or she's dropped out, then you're not in status, then you're not allowed to be in the country anymore. But as long as you're in status, as long as you're studying and you have all your paperwork in order with DHS, you can stay. Now, if you leave during the course of those 2 years and you want to re-enter, you have to have a visa because it's a travel document. So you have to apply for a new visa. Same if you change your school or you change your course of study, you get a new I-20, it's fine as long as you stay in the United States. But if you leave, you have to go through the visa program again, visa process to get a new visa. Make sense? Because it's a travel document. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good question. See, throw me a hard question. Wow, you're an easy audience. I gave this presentation like 2-3 weeks ago at the education fair in Lviv, and not Lviv, in Kyiv, and there were a lot of tough questions and complicated questions.
Any tough questions from previous presentations?
Oh, people asked me about would they not get a visa because they came from Lugansk and things like that, because of the conflict area there. People. I understand these questions are in your mind, so now's the time if you want to know anything. The refusal question is definitely one that comes up. People are concerned about what that means for getting visas. You guys are all you're sorted with that?
Do you want to hear a question about working travel program?
Not really.
I can ask you later if you don't mind.
No, this is just the student. This is student presentation. Just people. So has anybody applied already to a school, or what school you're going to apply to, or you've got some ideas, or you need to talk to somebody from Education USA who can help guide you to the right schools, the right programs? Or you were just cold outside and...
No.
One question.
Go ahead.
What may you advise how to behave on your visa interview, for example, if you're a visa officer?
Just be honest. That sounds really cheesy, but it's true. Don't try and hide something, because if we find it, even if it isn't something that's really material, that's really that, it just raises all kinds of questions about you. If you try and get something past us and something you don't want to draw attention to, and then we see it, it doesn't do you any favors. So just be honest. If you're going to study in the United States, we're going to expect you to be able to speak English. You don't have to do the whole visa interview in English, so you don't have to be nervous, but you are going to have to show that you understand and you can handle yourself in English, but it's not a reason to be super nervous and walk up to because we're all just people, we're all normal. If you're a legitimate traveler, we want to give you a visa. My job is to give you a visa if I can, as opposed to not giving you a visa. My job is to give you a visa if I can. If you're a legitimate traveler, I'm here to facilitate your travel, to make your travel happen. So there's no need to be super nervous. We will expect you to speak English, some English, be able to talk about why you're going somewhere or what your plans are. But other than that, we speak or Ukrainian or Russian, so we can also help you out if you get nervous. Now, if you're going to the language school program, sometimes a lot of people, people are applying for Fs to go on a language school, to study English. So obviously, if you're going to study English, we don't expect you to have perfect English, but we do expect you to have some English, because otherwise we're really, you're going to spend $10,000, but you don't speak a word? You didn't do anything before you went to spend $10,000 to learn English? It's a question, right? So we would lower the bar. You wouldn't have to have perfect English for that, but be able to handle yourselves a little bit. But yeah, just, answer the questions as well. Really. Sometimes you ask people a question, they give you all kinds of just answer the question. I need to know why. That's all. Be honest, answer the questions. You missed the whole presentation, my friend. Do you have any questions? Because
Traffic
everybody
jam.
else, questions. Go ahead, do it. And then I'll let you all go, because if you don't have questions, we'll finish. But go ahead.
Is it more complicated to get J visa for internship, not for studying, but for internship?
What do you mean more complicated?
No, I mean, is it the same?
Same procedure. Basically, you apply, they accept you and send you the DS 2019. You fill out the application form, pay your money, schedule your interview, show up with your DS 2019, and get the visa. So it's the same procedure basically. It doesn't matter what kind of J. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. All right, well, go ahead.
Would a Greek student arrive for language courses and then decided to apply to university?
Good question. So remember how I said that if you have a visa for just 1 year but your course is 2, you can stay, you're okay? Same thing, if you enter the United States to do one program and you apply to do another one and you're accepted, you're fine as long as you're in the United States. As long as you make sure that your status is registered and accepted in the DHS SEVIS system, absolutely fine. If you leave the United States, then you have to apply for a new visa to reflect your new course of study and your new status, because you might have been on F and then you go on a J or whatever, you have to get the new visa. You don't have to do that in Ukraine. So if you were taking a weekend trip to Canada, that would be okay to apply in Canada. You don't have to apply in Ukraine for your visa. So as long as you stay in status, that's fine with us. So you can change courses of study. Yes?
Yeah, I have a kind of specific question. So my parents had a US visa 3 years ago. So it expired 3 years ago. So I know that they can, get the visa again for with a simplified process during 5 years or 3 years. So they don't now they don't want to spend $200 on the visa because they don't want to they have no chance to go to US now, but maybe in the future they have this opportunity. So and this kind of question arrives. So with our new president, how
Who's
do
new
you expect?
president? Our new president?
Yeah. So would be some differences in this process? Should
I
they
mean,
rush
I
to
doubt
do
it. There's a lot of noise at the moment. There's a lot of, speculation. I don't think that B1, B2 visa regulations are going to change dramatically. You have to understand how slowly the wheels of bureaucracy turn. Even if we want to make a change, it takes so long to get through the system. Everybody signs off and says we're going to make, so it's nothing happens overnight is what I'm saying. So if there are changes coming, you'll probably know about them before they come. I don't think that should be a concern. If your parents aren't traveling, why should they spend $160 on a visa application? Although within, is it 3 years? They can send it in, which saves them a trip to the embassy, it saves them time and effort, and so they might want to think about that just for ease. But they're not obliged to get a visa now if they're not traveling. But I wouldn't worry about, all the noise for the moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, sorry, I'm a little bit
That's
late.
all right. I think I've seen you here. Were you here yesterday?
Yeah, you see me totally Hilton Hotel. The presentation here.
You were sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
You had lots of questions.
Yeah.
Told you there were lots of questions at Hilton. They all came from him.
Yeah, but today's traffic jam is just terrific and terrible. Sorry. But second of all, my question is, is there any correlation between the number of applicants for G1 visa and the successful interviews for those who are applicants?
No, we don't have a quota.
Basis,
We don't have a quota where we're we will apply, we'll approve 70%. No. If you are qualified, you get a visa. No quota.
I see. Thank you.
That's it? No more questions? Sasha, got a question? Oh, one more, yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. Some people, after their interview at the embassy, they say, everything was decided before my coming to the interview. So I'm curious, You are only one officer who check application form, or the application form is checked before the interview of applicant?
We don't have time to check anything before.
So
You
nobody
arrive
gets
at the embassy, no pre-adjudications. There's no such thing. Put that myth to rest. You arrive at the embassy and you hand in your forms, right? Like to the intake, that's the first time we know you're here. And that we know that you're, well, I mean, I suppose we know you're coming because we have the list of interviews, but like we're pretty busy. So like yesterday we dealt with yesterday, today we're going to focus on today. It's not like we're, 3 days ahead of ourselves. You arrive at the embassy, you hand in your forms and you get your sticker, your barcode, and then you wait in line to come to me. In the meantime, I'm busy. I've got other applicants that I'm talking to and seeing. No, I have not looked at you before you show up at my window. And I'm trained that as soon as you show up at my window, I can pretty quickly look at the information I need, ask you questions and get the information I need and make my decision. But I have not had a chance to look at you before you come.
Yeah, but maybe other officers give you some recommendation before the applicant coming to you.
Really, no. We just don't have time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
About the applicants who are apply for work and travel the second time, I heard such stories. About the people who are applying for the second time for the work and travel and for the just same place they were last time.
Mm-hmm.
And this can be how to say, this will be arguing moment, for the officer.
I will answer your question, but it's the only question on summer work and travel I'm going to answer, because otherwise we'll be here all night. This is really a student, a student visa presentation, the S and the M. All I'll say about summer work and travel is it's difficult to adjudicate. It's a problematic program. Why? Because so many people overstay. So many people go on their 3 months and they stay for 4, 5, 6, 8, 3 years. So it's very difficult for us to adjudicate the summer work and travel. Now, usually we say that someone who's been to the United States and come back, that's a great sign. Summer work and travel, it's a little different. So it's a little bit more difficult. So we have to look differently at the applications. But
Thank you.
we try and adjudicate with an open mind, and we try and get the whole picture. We get the whole picture of Ukraine, where you're coming from, what you're doing, who you are, what your intentions are.
So
That's the summer work and travel spiel. Because this is really student visas. I think we're probably all done. I think I've squeezed a question out of everybody. One more.
Yes. What about if, as I heard about from the presentation, if I'm going to be, for example, a dancer in the United States, I have to get M visa, of course.
No, if you're going to study dance.
Yes.
If you're going to be a dancer, I would hope you get a P, performance visa.
Study dance.
Yes, to study dance, you would need an M visa. The F is for academic programs, geography, history, business, science. And the M is for vocational, pilots, musicians, dancers, artists.
What's a huge difference between F and 1 visa?
We just like to make more rules. We can create a whole new category if we
Can I throw in another
Go on, another last one question, because I think people are itching to go home, because visas are not that interesting for a whole hour. Yeah.
If somebody went on a J visa and then, say, transferred to a different university or in a different program, and their school is telling them, we want to sponsor you an F visa, what would they need to do if their visa type is changed? Their sponsor decides they want to change their visa time in the process, or is that even possible?
Do you know the answer to that question? Are you asking me and you know the answer? Because if you do, then
No, I don't think I entirely do.
I don't think it should make any difference, right? Like the school decides what. If you're on a J, like an exchange program, and then you decide to stay and do the full program of study as an F, for example, it's just a question of being accepted for that program of study. And once you're accepted and you change everything in SEVIS and the school changes the status in SEVIS, I don't see that it's a problem.
Do they need to leave the country though and get a new visa?
You never need to leave. Well, you do need to leave. But you don't need to leave just because you changed your status, right? As long as you make sure we know that you've changed your status, you only need to you leave when you're ready and get a new visa when you're ready. Well, I will wish you all the best of luck. If you are interested in studying in the United States, we would love to have you because of all the new perspectives and knowledge and interest that you bring. You'll bring knowledge about your country, you'll share, you'll make relationships, cultural bridges. We love it. Come. And good luck with the process. It's a little sticky, but 4,000 people got through it in the last 5 years, so you can too. And that's just the F's, so. All right, good luck.
Will the
Thanks very
presentation be
much.
available online?
I think Sasha's filming it to stick it up on the web somewhere. And
It is
if it
online.
gets like 3 clicks, I'll be all excited. So
Education USA YouTube channel.
there you are, Education USA YouTube channannel.
Great, thank you.
All right, great. Good luck. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Right.